Even for him, the senses are so powerful. They can simply drag away the mind. So watch out. Beware. Now, when the mind is dragged away, what is the process? Where happens? What is does it lead to? So how a person gets make biggest mistakes in the mind to when the mind is so what are the steps would lead to the fall? One minute. All right. Let me change the internet connection. Give me a moment. All right. I've changed the internet connection. You should be all better now. Yes. Now it should be better. Let's see. All right. So let me recapitulate what I said, since it was what I said so far. What are the causes for a person to get into trouble because of the wayward movements of the mind? What are the possible avenues of getting trapped? That is going to be mentioned now in the following verses. But before that, now we finished till verse 60 in the last class, where the impact of the senses, the power of the senses on the mind was highlighted. Now, we move to 61, where Lord Krishna is giving Arjuna a very, very important piece of advice. So, it's called the ladder of fall. Before showing Arjuna the ladder of fall, there is a piece of advice given to him. If that advice is not followed, then there is a ladder of fall. The person falls. Let us see. Verse 61. Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. This is verse 61. Chapter 2, verse 61. Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matparaha vashehi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. Tani sarvani sanyamya. Tani, all those. What those? Those senses. Those wayward senses. The senses which pull you in different directions. All those, tani, sarvani, sanyamya. You must master them. You should determine, you should direct where the senses should go. Sanyamya means you hold it together. All of them. Tani sarvani sanyamya. Keep them in your control. So in the previous verse, verse 60, the process of showing you how the senses can be so powerful to distract you, that was explained. Now he says, because they are so powerful, your effort to manage them should be equally powerful. In other words, do not take your senses for granted. You better learn to manage them. So, tani sarvani sanyamya. Keep them all restrained. Keep your senses, sarvani means all the five senses, keep them within your control. And yukta asita matparaha. Yuktaha here means one who is endowed with some discrimination, some viveka, some higher thinking. So yukta means a person who is blessed with knowledge, who is blessed with the power to manage his thoughts, who is blessed with a guru, with guidance, with the shastra. So all that gives this person a clear discrimination. He is yuktaha. He is well endowed with some proper way of thinking. So, when this person is yuktaha, what should he do? Asita matparaha. He should remain. Literally, asita means he should sit. He should sit or remain matparaha, considering me as supreme. Me as the highest. Matparaha, considering me as the supreme, me as the highest. Now, what does this me as the supreme mean? Lord Krishna is saying, think of me. Think of the higher things that have to be thought of. I am the one, in the form of the laws, governing this whole cosmos. You do your work, focus on your work. And once you have a focused mind, focus on me. Because I am the king, I am the ruler. Focus on me, I'll give you what you want. Yukta asita matpara. Sit in contemplation of me. In other words, don't contemplate on samsara. Samsara means this and that and so many things happen. That is not worth your meditation. So most people meditate on their problems. They will keep on thinking. Unnecessary thinking. They are expert meditators on their problems. It's a term that's used in the West. I am meditating on this problem. What a thing to say. But everyone says it. So he says, instead of meditating on this samsara, this jagat, meditate on me, meditate on the higher truths. Learn, meditate on the higher truths. Sit in contemplation of me. And then he says, Yasya vashe indriyani. He whose sense organs, indriyani, he whose sense organs are vashe. Vashe means he whose sense organs are within his control. In other words, here is a person who cannot be disturbed or distracted. Once he chooses to focus. So once he chooses to stay on one subject, nothing can disturb him. That's what he means here. For one whose sense organs are in control, yasya vashe indriyani, he tasya prajna pratishtita. He is a person whose knowledge is well established. He is a sthita prajna. Look at what he is equating it to. Sthita prajna is one, not who has read so many books, not who can read, chant or talk, but the one who has this mastery over the senses. The one whose senses have no power to disturb him. They cannot, because he holds the senses in the place. So there are a lot of people who say, normally I am very calm, but when I see this kind of people, I get disturbed. When I see this kind of dress, or sometimes a lack of dress also, I get disturbed. When I see this kind of behavior and then this kind of, I get disturbed. So otherwise, I'm very calm. You see, I'm a very calm person, but so yasya vashendriyani, he whose indriyani, sense organs, are under control, in his mastery, in his control. Tasya prajna pratishtita, his knowledge, his wisdom is established. Tasya prajna pratishtita. So here the advice is, choose what you wish to meditate on. Don't involuntarily meditate on the samsara. Involuntarily means you don't want to think of the problems, but your mind is pulled there. So if you have problems, sit down, resolve them. Think consciously and resolve them. Any problem has to be brought into a conscious awareness. Talk about the problem, discuss it, write it out, resolve it. But just simply letting your mind be dragged there, that is called an inconsistent mind. And that is, some people are very skillful at doing that. Just keep on randomly thinking. You will find even speech becomes random then. There's no head or tail, there's no connection with what a person started with, what he is talking about now, what he is going to say. It's just because the thoughts are random, you find speech becomes random. Then you know that there is absolutely no holding of the senses or the mind. And therefore, the training has to start somewhere. So he says, please train yourself not to meditate on the world. Why don't you meditate or think of the higher truths? So, first of all, to meditate on the higher truths, firstly you need shravana. Shravana means listening to a guru. Shravana is literally means listening. Listening, understanding to a guru. Then after you have some kind of material based on what you have heard, then you can contemplate upon that knowledge, that material. So, when you start contemplating on that knowledge, you will find the knowledge reveals to you your inadequacies, sometimes your blocks towards knowledge, sometimes your diffidence or your lethargy or your anger. Contemplate on how to get rid of that. So, ultimately, the knowledge asks you to contemplate upon your real self. There are different ways you can contemplate. So, this is what we have studied in the first part of chapter 2. You can contemplate on the limitless Atma, Purna Atma, then the Asanga Atma, the I who is not stuck to anything, who's not disturbed by anything. All this we studied in the first part of chapter 2. You can meditate upon the I as the one who is the non-doer, non-enjoyer. He doesn't do, doesn't enjoy. Asanga Atma. And then slowly, as you keep hearing, the Shravana continues, then you know exactly what to dwell on, what you need to contemplate upon. So here, the more you contemplate on the higher, the more your senses know that now, for my master, the higher is more important. We don't have a chance to distract him. The senses and the mind gets a message. So, that urge, that request is made by Lord Krishna here to Arjuna. Manage your senses well. Now suppose you do not manage your senses appropriately, and more than that, it's not just the senses, remember it is the mind. So if you do not learn to hold your mind in its place, what is the ladder of fall? So normally when you fall, so when you climb up, you have to say ladder of climbing up. But you fall, you just fall. But in this portion, there is a process, a very step-by-step process by which a human being is trapped and he falls into problems, falls into miseries. And how does the problem start? From his own mind. So that very interesting description of how one is completely destroyed, one's objectivity is completely destroyed, is given here in the next two verses. This is a very, very important portion of the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 2, verse 62 and 63 depicts how a human being can fall, step by step. What are the steps? What will happen next? So when you hear this, you can actually recall times when people have got themselves into trouble due to this process, due to this inadvertent process. All this happens if you are not trained, if you have no knowledge. So now let us see. This is verse 62 and 63, chapter 2. We will do 62 and 63 together. Let us see. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangastheshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate krodhat bhavati sammohah sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhi nashah buddhi nashat pranashyati dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bhijayate krodhat bhavati sammohah sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhi nashah buddhi nashat pranashyati. The whole problem starts because we have a very sophisticated gift called thinking, and we have not learned how to use it. So the problem emerges because of this very sophisticated, wonderful gift. The gift is not the problem. How you use or how you are ignorant of how to use your thinking, that is the problem. So, starts with Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha. Pumsaha Vishayan Dhyayata. Pumsaha means a person. A person Dhyayata thinks. Here thinking means not just ordinary thinking. Look, when we think, so many thoughts come and go. They come and they go. In their own time, they are replaced by other thoughts. But sometimes the thoughts don't go. They sit in your awareness. So, dhyayataha means now you are dwelling on a particular thought. This thought is repeating itself at your cost. It's sitting there. It's nourishing itself. How does a thought nourish itself? By repetition. So you keep on thinking about something. What are you thinking about? Vishaya, some object. Something. Something or the other. It could be a problem. It could be something very attractive. Normally, something that you desire becomes very enticing for the person who wants it. It becomes very alluring. So any object stays in your thought because to you it appears very desirable, very wonderful. So here is a person who dhyayata, instead of meditating upon the truth, he meditates upon some object which is so desirable. Meditating on the qualities, the peculiarities of that object. Now, when you repeatedly think of an object, slowly a certain longing, a certain love, a certain affection for the object is born. People also, is very simple. This boy and the girl see each other regularly on the metro. They are just, he is going to his college, she goes to her college. They just happen to be in the same metro. They happen to sit in the same bogie. So it starts with just a sight. You see so many people, but for the boy, that girl is particularly, for some reason, very nice. And for that girl also, that particular boy is also very nice. So earlier, what started as a routine sight, you see so many people, but then the sight gets focused on this particular girl, this particular boy. Both on the metro. And then after they go away, they leave, they go to their colleges or they come back, they go home. Both of them are dhyayataha. Dhyayataha, both of them think of each other. So the thought is repeated. They are meditating on what is dhyayataha vishayan pumsaha. Because of this constant repeated thought, sangasteshu upajahyate. Sangha is born. Sangha literally means your thought gets stuck to like that object. Sangha is stickiness. So now this thought has grown very fat because you have been thinking about the same person. Boy is thinking about the girl, girl is thinking about the boy. And then once the Sangha forms, Sangha means certain stickiness, the thought wants to now do something. So he will notice. She's carrying a very heavy bag. Can I hold your books for you? Can I hold your bag for you? Or one day she doesn't get a seat. So you look tired. Would you like to sit down on my seat? Sangaha. So at that time, there may be some old person there who needs the seat more. But his thought is focused on, because he is meditating on the girl. So he will focus only on the girl. Would you like to sit down? It's called Sangha. And so then an interaction begins. Then the talking, then why don't we have a coffee? So let us go and have a coffee. Just simple, innocuous coffee. And then the coffee, so many things can happen over a cup of coffee. So coffee. Sangha grows stronger. Sangha means first a single simple flow of thought. Single flow of thought now becomes a thicker stream of thought. Imagine the thought like a trickle of water. Earlier it was a drop, one drop of water. One girl amongst many girls. Then that one drop becomes drop, 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 drop. It's trickle of water. The focus goes on this one girl. Then Sangha forms, so constant talking, constant interaction, it becomes a thin stream of thought. More interaction, I do something for you, she does something for me, and then we exchange this and roses and cards and cakes and whatever one exchanges, one goes on and on. Sangha grows. Sangasteshu upajayate. Upajayate is born. With reference to teshu, with reference to that object, whatever you thought desirable, Sangha is born. So you see, when you choose to dwell on an object or anything, you should choose what to think of. If you simply continuously think about something, that thought stream grows bigger and stronger. The problem is just beginning now. So your flow of thoughts is moving indiscriminately to an object, and it is becoming thicker and thicker. Then after Sangaha, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. Next step. So that thin stream of thought becomes a thicker stream of thought. Now, this stream of thought not necessary for a person. It can be for anything. It can be for a car, for a piece of furniture, for the carpet that you buy. Anything. So you can have this kind of thought flow towards anything. And then little interaction, affection is no problem, but the problem is whatever you like at some time you want to possess. That becomes a problem. Whatever I like, I need to have it. So, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. Kamaha means desire. The desire to possess is born. How did it start? Just a look, just a glance, just hearing. Somebody just was talking. They were talking about their exquisite expedition to the Galapagos Islands. You didn't even know where this Galapagos was on the map, world map. You didn't know. But this person was narrating his expedition in Galapagos Islands and going on and on. And the more he's narrating, the more the mind has got. I really have to go now. That Galapagos. So your mind is filled with Galapagos. You still have to find out where on the earth it is. But it is filled with some, whatever has been said about Galapagos. And then you start searching and you will find a lot of information on Galapagos, and then you find one tour, Galapagos Islands. That's enough to create a desire. I have to go there. Whether I can afford it, whether it is worth going there, what are the conditions there? So does my work or health or condition now permit me to go there? No. Galapagos, that's all the mind is concerned with. That's enough to create a desire. Just hearing someone. So this is what the senses do. You just see, hear something, and then you fall into one big trap. Then the thin stream of thought becomes thicker and thicker. Once it is turned into a desire to possess or to have or to experience, it is called a desire. Started with one thought, single thought. And generally the thought is, why not? Why not? Why not? If you ask why, and you logically use reason, maybe that thought will go away. But there is not much logic, there is no proper discrimination there is no proper thinking. So why not? Then keep on thinking. The mind just goes on and on, becomes a thin stream of thoughts, becomes a thicker stream of thoughts. Then what happens? Desire is born. Then every desire cannot be fulfilled. Sometimes nature doesn't allow it. Sometimes health or wealth conditions. So many factors. So every desire, everything that we want can't necessarily happen. But look at the flow of thought now. The flow, it is called an indiscriminate flow of thought. So you have not directed it. It has just become stronger because of indiscriminate thinking. Remember this. This whole ladder of fall is because of indiscriminate thought. If you choose to focus your thought, that is very different. That is the opposite of what is happening here. If you choose to focus, we will talk about it much later. Here we are talking about an indiscriminate flow of thought. So, when you have an indiscriminate flow of thought which is so powerful, which turns into a desire, then anything that disrupts the fulfillment of your desire, anything that comes in the way, for any reason you are not able to have what you want, the same powerful flow of thought called desire now gets deflected in the form of krodha. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Then look at the next part. Kamat krodha vijayate. This is the birth of anger. So where does anger come from? The stronger your indiscriminate thought flow, the greater the power of anger will be, the greater the thrust of anger. So the whole thing boils down to what I have been building up indiscriminately in my thought. The intensity with which you desire anything determines the magnitude and intensity of your anger. So sometimes when you desire something and it doesn't matter whether it is fulfilled or not, then anger won't be there. Because it doesn't matter. But if it matters, then if the desire is not fulfilled, there's a lot of problems. There's frustration, there's anger, there is a feeling of failure. And if there is a person who's an obstruction, so now this boy likes this girl, and suppose there is another boy trying to woo her, the whole anger is deflected on the intruder, the one who is intrusive in that connection. So, for example, you expect a person to behave a particular way. You expect. You have a desire they should behave with me in this way, and they never behave in the way you want. That person will indefinitely be a target of your anger. Because you have an expectation. They should be this way with me only. Either anger or frustration or grumbling, complaining. Munu munu, this is not happening, they are useless and they are no good and that person is useless. They will never learn. They are all kinds of then adjectives are born. Very creatively we create adjectives, new and new adjectives for this person. This is a problem. Very important, this mantra. Look at it, this verse. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. It starts with a single thought. Then sangas teshu upajayate. One thought leads to small flow of thoughts. Sangat sanjayate. Kama, simple small flow of thought leads to kama, thicker flow of thought. And that thicker flow of thought, if interrupted, kama krodha vijayate. Anger is born. The matter is not over. Look what happens next. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Now the real damage and already the fall has begun because of anger. Now what happens? The nature of anger is it just usurps any discrimination or rationality. A person can become very impulsive in anger because the power of rational discrimination and reasoning is gone. So the problem with anger is, I have very powerful ragadvesha and I want things to happen based on my ragadvesha. Ragadvesha, powerful likes and dislikes. What I want must happen, what I don't want should not happen. If anything goes here and there, then there is a lot of anger. Now, people say, oh, you should control your anger. It is no point controlling anger because a person who's simmering inside will burst one day like a volcano. So what is the solution? Raga dvesha have to be looked into. That is the whole understanding. However, now the damage is, once there is anger, in anger, nobody can think. It's very, very rare. Not even rare. It is not possible. That anger and rational thinking. So someone who is taken over by the impulse of anger, rationality ceases to be there. And thereafter, what you do, nobody can tell. Such people can behave extraordinarily impulsively. They can throw things around, they can shout, scream, use abusive language. They can border on threatening others, even committing suicide. They can do anything. There's no sense of control here. And here we are talking about not insane people. We are talking about very intelligent, very smart people, very so-called from good families. We are talking about normal people here. Here we are talking about any normal human being who can go through this disaster. So there is no viveka as to what ought to be done, what should not be done. In anger, you don't think. And because you can't think, krodhat bhavati sammoha. Sammoha means complete delusion. You don't know where you are, what you're saying, to whom you're saying, what you are doing. It's a very, very dangerous situation because you could be very easily trapped. People can cash in on the mistakes you make. You blurt out anything in anger. And because of this sammohaha, this delusion, you don't know what is happening. Next is sammohat smriti vibhramaha. Smriti vibhramaha, smriti means memory. Vibhrama means completely a distortion of memory, loss of memory, distortion of memory. What you have learned, any values you have learned, family culture, family tradition, any shastra you have learned something about what should be done and what should not be done, good and what is right and what is not appropriate. All that is completely washed out. It's called smriti vibhrama, loss of memory. So complete aviveka takes over, lack of discrimination. And then, when you have this kind of a loss of memory, smriti bhramshat buddhi nashaha, then that really disables your buddhi even more. It incapacitates your buddhi from any kind of rational thought. A human being can become an animal in this condition. They do things that a human being can't dream of. Remember, all criminals don't necessarily have criminal minds. But criminals are born because of this problem, this situation here. A person gets into crime because he doesn't behave like a human being anymore. When this happens, when this fall happens, then there is anger, then there is a delusion, sammohaha, then buddhi nashaha, there is a smriti vibhramaha. Good people, sensible people commit crimes in this condition. It's brilliant the way Lord Krishna has enunciated this in so many clear words that any human being, it doesn't matter who you can get into this trap. And where does the problem start? Dhyayato vishayan. You're just meditating on some silly thing in this samsara. Indiscriminately. Remember, indiscriminately is the key word here. You keep on thinking without any knowledge, without any head and tail, without any guidance on how you should think. You just keep on thinking because nobody taught us how to think. That is why he says you will be in big trouble if you don't know how to use your thinking. And then buddhi nashat, once the buddhi, if you don't use your buddhi as a human being, buddhi nashat pranashyati. If your wisdom that you have is not available to you, you are going to be completely destroyed. By whom? By yourself. Pranashyati means when the impulses take over, this person can do anything. Remember, the only way to be aware and to be careful of this kind of situation, this kind of problem is nip it in the bud. Because once anger starts, the fall is very, very quick. Anger, impulsiveness, delusion, loss of memory, loss of any values, buddhi nasha pranashati. The fall is very swift. But the conditions of that fall were set much earlier, just by indiscriminate thinking. Therefore, you nip the problem in the bud. No indiscriminate thought. You choose your thoughts. You choose what to dwell on. If there is a thought that repeatedly occurs to you, you should know how to replace it. That is what the whole Bhagavad Gita is strengthening and nourishing your thoughts, so you gain the power to choose what you want to think. Because every thought has its consequences. An indiscriminate thought, this is the worst possible scenario for anyone. So thereafter, the person, once the buddhi is gone, he is not in charge of himself, he is not in control of himself, no control of the situation. Sometimes in these conditions, not even providence, not even God can save us, because we landed ourselves into this situation. Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita says, remember, choose what you meditate on. Do not meditate indiscriminately on only general objects of the world. Indiscriminate thinking here he's talking about. You want to think, meditate on something worth meditating on. That is why in the previous verse he said, Yukta asita matparaha. Think of something higher. Dwell on that. There's so much to dwell on. Instead of meditating on the higher, we dwell on our inhibitions, our problems, our losses and this and so on. Sometimes non-essentials. The only savior is Shravana. The more you gain this knowledge, the more your thoughts will meditate on something higher. The more you think of the higher, you will find yourself being in control of your thoughts. I have got many questions on how to manage thinking, how to enjoy our own thoughts. There are many questions here. The key is Shravana. Because when your mind gains beautiful, enlightened knowledge, this knowledge, it's a joy to think about. And the more you think about it, the more strength your mind gains. And then you will enjoy the company of your own higher thinking. That's what you'll meditate on. So therefore, watch out for any indiscriminate thought. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. Be very, very aware of any thought that indiscriminately repeats itself. Remember, if thoughts come and go, it's all right. But any thought that repeats itself without your permission, watch out. Then you know you have to consciously do something, otherwise you will be in trouble. See, this is how people also get into anger, not only anger, depression. Depression and then low thinking, feeling miserable, because they are dwelling on something that indiscriminate dwelling, unnecessary indiscriminate thinking and thinking about something that is not worthy, and very often they don't want to think about it, but the thoughts will be pulled there. Why did it happen? No training. All right, no training till now, it's all right. Now you know what to do. That's why in all these verses he says, Tani sarvani sanyamya, you better keep your senses under your check. Keep your thoughts in your check. You choose what thought should repeat itself. So suppose here they are talking about indiscriminate repetition of thought. Suppose you choose to dwell on one thought and you discriminately think about it. That is called concentration. That is called focus. Where you have an object in front of you, you want to get something done, you develop the power of focus, but it is discriminate. Discriminate means you choose, I want to think of this because I want to achieve this. That is the power of concentration. Exactly opposite to what is happening in this verse. In fact, that is the way you rise. But the moment there is indiscriminate thought, and the mind can think about anything. Sometimes people get into very strange troubles. Their desires become so strong. The things that they do to fulfill desires traps them so badly, but unfortunately they are not able to foresee. Because desire blinds. It's a thick stream of thought over discrimination. Sangha was a thin stream of thought, and it started with one or two thoughts. By the time it's a desire, it's thick enough to blind you. They will do anything to get their desires fulfilled. Very often people violate dharma. They end up disturbing others. They disturb family members. They disturb the society. Such people who have very powerful desires, they can be very easily brainwashed to do anything. Anything they will do for just to fulfill a desire. It can be so self-destructive. See, this is what we say. We have been blessed with the gift of thought. It is a blessing. Because of thought, we can visualize, imagine, be creative, enjoy the world. Our sense of enjoyment of the world is at a different level because of our thinking. But we have to learn how to direct it. If we don't direct it, it can completely destroy us. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. So we become the cause for our own destruction. Very, very important analysis. Very important insight. And the moment you understand this and get hold of your thoughts, you will sort your own thought problems. All the people who are victims of anger, it's not that overnight anger will go, because raga dvesha still has to be worked on. But at least you can hold your anger in place. You can see a huge change in yourself if you're a victim of anger. If you're a victim of any pain or depression or sorrow or other mental disturbances, again, keep your thoughts in your charge. Any people who have panic or stress, anxiety, all these categories will learn so much from this. Now start choosing what you dwell on. Be very, very selective. And repeat only those thoughts which are worthy. Otherwise, not worthy, replace them. Learn the art of replacing your thought to something better, something higher. Very important portion. Please study this, think about it. The moment you completely understand it, it will transform you. It has such a power to transform. Good. So we will stop here till verse 63, and we will continue in the next session. So let us continue here. Let us conclude here. We'll chant 61, 62, 63 together. Tani sarvani sanyamya yukta asita matparaha vashe hi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratisthita dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ So for all those who, when the voice was breaking up in the beginning, I have made a recording here on a small gadget. So this is the voice recording. So you should have it clear on the voice recording. Just in case there are words you miss or you missed or something, listen to the voice. Anyway, you should listen to the voice recording again. But I will send it on the group, and there is no breaks there. So please, you can study it again from there. Yes. Thank you, Amnon, for reminding me to record. That's the video recording also. That's also done. Thank you to Amnon. All right. Now, you can type your questions. Also, there were questions from. I had some questions. Let me go through them. Amnon, Hari Om Niloferji, just to fill in the Sanskrit, what is the difference between Upajayate, Sanjayate, Abhijayate? A good question. So, Jayate means to be born. So, in Sanskrit, the verb is Jayate, to be born. This Upa, Jayate, San and Abhi, Upa, San and Abhi are different prefixes. So, Upajayate, where did it come in that context? Let us see. Yeah. Sangasteshu Upajayate. Upajayate means is born, it emerges from, is born from. Sanjayate means it is very well born, very well created. Abhijayate, Abhi literally means around. It means Krodha is created around that situation, around this person. So literally, in the essence, all of them mean the same thing. But the slight change in prefix would, you see, remember this is poetry. So remember, whatever fits into that meter, they have to use. And so he's used 3 different words just for a change, but also there is a slight nuance of change in the meaning, like we mentioned. Upajayate, created from, Sanjayate, well created, Abhijayate, created around that situation. So that is that. Then, yes, all right, Anand. Sureshji, yeah, I am angry if I see some adharma. Is this normal? The whole fight from time immemorial, whether it is Devas and Asuras, whether it is Lord Vishnu taking so many avatars, the whole reason for everything, in fact, the reason for this Jagat to be in place is because there will be pairs of opposites. There will be dharma, there will be adharma. Adharma is necessary for this Jagat to exist because both the opposites should be there. If one opposite goes, the whole Jagat will cease to be. But the avatars are born to resurrect the balance. So too much adharma, there will be an avatara to change the balance. So the balance should, at least it should be balanced or little more dharma. But it will always never be little more dharma. There will always be this seesaw between dharma and adharma. So adharma grows, an avatara will come and make it shift the balance. Then dharma will thrive for some time, again adharma will grow. This means Adharma will always be in the world. All right? It is like saying, if you have a stomach, there are possibilities. There will be trouble, some trouble. There will be a stomach ache. There will be indigestion. Possible. All right? That means the stomach doesn't function properly. Should I get angry for something that is bound to happen? Anger is not required. Adharma is bound to be there. Why is it bound to be there? Because the very definition of Jagat is pairs of opposites, dvandvas, heat, cold, joy, sorrow, dharma, adharma. However, that doesn't mean you let adharma thrive. You have to manage and you have to overcome adharma. But getting angry is not the method. If you get angry, then the possibility is once the anger comes, then impulse takes over. Impulse takes over, rationality goes away, clarity in thinking goes away. What is the strategic way we have to move ahead? All that strategy is gone. So anger will not help anybody because nothing, no job gets done. In fact, people will, anger can create more problems. You may instigate some people the wrong way also. Therefore, it is true, if a person is dharmic, we don't like adharma. It is not just your question, it is for all of us. None of us like. So if someone cheats me, I will get angry. Natural. So your question is a very, very truthful and a very natural question, because if I don't like being cheated, I don't like being disturbed, anger is normal in that sense. However, these verses tell you, since you are a human being, you may get angry. Don't let anger overtake you. That's all. Because we are not stones. But at some time, we got to bring that rational understanding that this world will also have crooks. They will also have cheats. But that doesn't stop. I may be disturbed for a while. I have to bounce back to center quickly. Yes, I was cheated, I was disturbed, I was harassed. All right, that is part of the world. Now I have to make amends. Now I use strategy to conquer it, not by being angry, but understanding this is a part of the world which has to be tackled very calmly, very coolly, with a very rational mind. So therefore, your question is a very truthful one. Is it normal to get angry? Yes, it is normal, but don't ever be a victim of the anger. Anger won't do anything. We only get angry and upset ourselves, and sometimes when we are angry, we grumble. So the people around us also have to hear our grumbling, which can be quite painful for them. So, but since we are human beings, let it come, let it go. Let us bring this knowledge powerfully into focus. And then do something to conquer that other. Is that all right? So that is about anger. Then, thank you. I'm Meena. Amazing class. In line with something I've been experiencing, my thoughts are scattered. Try to bring them back to focus, but the past week I'm all over the place. I have a headache since 2 days because of lack of clarity. Today I can understand this can happen. How can I bring myself back quickly before I lose it more? You just be aware of what you're thinking. Be aware of what is that wandering thought. And what is the situation? Is there a problem that you are continuously thinking of, or is it some anger towards some person? So instead of indiscriminate thinking, this class tells you just be aware of your thoughts. The moment you start being aware, you can bring yourself back to center very quickly. So the answer for you, Meena, is just be aware where your thoughts are going. Relax and watch your own thoughts. Just be aware. And then you will find yourself being in charge of all the scattering, wandering thoughts. Yeah. Thank you. Then Sabarish. Ma'am, is there a method or is it a good thing to view one's past life? I saw some people do to go through past life regression to heal the hurt that we did or others we did it. Also in Gita, Krishna is telling the world is suffering. Dukhalayam ashashvatam. So is life is suffering or celebration? Sabir, first question. Past life. See, later on in, I think, chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 16, Lord Krishna, I think it's verse 16, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, among the many things in the world I am apohanam, I am the loss of memory. I make you forget. And one of the very important things we forget, which is a big blessing, is we forget our past lives. Who we were, what we did. There is a reason. There is nature's reason to do that. Now, this whole thing about past life regression, if someone really is in trauma in this life, if there is really some kind of very disturbing aspect, which one is totally helpless. Even in such scenarios, one should take the guidance of the guru and then approach this whole past life regression, because you see, we have enough to deal with in this life. All right? We don't want to know all the problems and the things we did in previous lives, because it may be too much for our minds to handle. A lot of people, if not properly guided, they can get into more trouble by knowing what they were or what they did or how they are connected to people now. Sometimes problems are solved if they are very, very, disturbing problems. It's solved, not to say no. However, it is not for entertainment. If you are living a relatively peaceful life, happy life, relatively means there will be ups and downs, there will be some disturbances, that's all right. If you're relatively all right, do not tamper with nature and do any kind of this kind of for entertainment value. It doesn't help, because there's a reason nature chose to veil it. So that is to answer the question about past life. It is surely not for entertainment. In extreme cases, under the guidance of a guru or of someone who is a little with some higher wisdom, after taking their advice, if they consider it appropriate or necessary, then with extremely careful guidance, one has to do it. Otherwise, these things are not to be played with. And surely not as a, let me see and let us see. It's better to keep away. Then, so you're saying some people go through the past to heal the hurt. Yes, so if there is extreme pain or some issue like that, yes, the regression has been seen to solve problems, to heal hurts and wounds. It is used as a tool, but like I said earlier, you need a very skillful master, someone very skillful, because they're taking you into unknown area. And then finally, the next question, in Gita, Krishna is saying world is suffering, dukhalayam ashashvatam. Dukhalayam ashashvatam, we'll talk about it later, but life is not suffering. All right? So you're saying, is life suffering or celebration? Life is what you choose to direct. You are the director. Your thoughts are the director. This text, Bhagavad Gita, is training you to be a master director of your thoughts. And then life is your movie, you direct it. You bring whatever you would like. But within that direction, your destiny also plays. Past karma plays. Doesn't matter, let it play. You are still the director. This text is giving you that empowerment to direct. So you choose what your life should be. With the appropriate mindset, with the appropriate knowledge, you learn to see the beauty of life as it is, joy and sorrow. Sorrow needs to be there so that you know what joy is. If there is only joy, you will never know its worth. It's like after a cold, when the nose is blocked, you can't smell, there is no taste when eating food. And then after your cold goes away, you can get the fragrance of the food, your taste is back. Then you know how valuable your sense of taste and smell is, and you really value it. Similarly, you value joy because you have been through hard times. So when you see joy and sorrow with an equal vision, then you start directing your life. You will see that equanimity brings great peace, great balance, and a cheerfulness, a lightheartedness with whatever you do. Yes? So life is how you choose to direct. And this is the empowering tool. That's why it's so precious. Bhagavad Gita is so precious. Then Lakshmi. Connected to Meena's question, how do I bring my mind away from repeated negative patterns of thinking? Thought moves at lightning speed. True, but the very fact that you are mentioning repeated negative patterns of thinking means you are aware of it. That's a great achievement. Many people are not even aware of it. So you have come a long way. Anyone who's aware of their repeated negative patterns of thinking, it's a great mastery. You come a long way. Now that you're aware of it, after hearing these verses, you contemplate upon it, you will know what to do. You will learn to replace. Let it be, let your thoughts be at lightning speed. You will replace with lightning speed because that's your thought, that is your power. So, it's a very, very good step that you are aware. The one big hurdle crossed, the next is a piece of cake. Not a problem. And repeated, when you say repeated negative patterns means because of that repetition, there's a momentum. So you will also need to repeat the knowledge, repeat the replacement of thought. And then that repetition is neutralized by this repetition of knowledge. It's a matter of time. It's a little effort. Give it time. Don't expect it to, overnight success. Give it time. Be patient. Sometimes you may win. Sometimes you may lose. It's all a part of the game. So, no big result orientation. Just let it take its course. Let the knowledge do its work to bless. Then, Puneet. Ma'am, many friends of mine say I am a negative thinker. How to come out of it? It's not what your friends say. Now you have a very powerful tool. You know where your thoughts are going. You direct your thoughts to what ought to be done. Now you will see in the next chapter also Karma Yoga. So where exactly to direct thoughts? Lord Krishna is very, very patient in teaching Arjuna this. Where exactly the thoughts should move. So, once you know and you direct your thoughts, you will find a huge change in yourself. And negative, it's a matter of time, it will go away. So this is how to come out of it is you keep remembering, learning, gaining the knowledge. contemplating on it, and be in charge, be aware of what you're thinking. You can change it. It's a matter of your will and your effort. Lakshmi, thank you, most encouraging. Okay. Sabrish, ma'am, if you have time, can you tell us what is Rina Bandhana? If this is true, how are we directing our life through thoughts? Rina Bandhana. Rina means debt. For the rest, so for everyone, Rina means debt. Bandhana means you're caught in some debt of karma. So sometimes the debt continues through many lives. And therefore, in this life, we have to go through some paying back of the debts. Now, when you have to pay back any debt, so when you get into a debt, you don't think about it so much. But paying back takes a lot of effort and time and patience. So similarly, any debt that you're caught into, patiently go through life, and if you know what it is, you pay it back. If you don't know what it is, you don't worry. Your karma will extract it out of you. So, whatever your karma brings to your life, graciously go through it. Don't resist. Don't, be frustrated or angry. Maybe a Rina Bandhana. Just graciously. So, the Gita tells you how to live all experiences very graciously. So, that is, if you do that, then sometimes huge Rina Bandhana goes away. So, this is the way to manage Rina Bandhana. This will tell you how to manage it. Bhagavad Gita will tell you. We don't have to worry about it. But if you know what the Rina is, pay. Any debt, if you know you're in debt, pay back. Patiently, diligently pay back. And therefore, the Gita, your question is if this is true, how are we directing our life through thoughts? So, that your life will present very tricky situations. Instead of being frustrated in the situation, direct your thoughts to manage that Rina. To pay back graciously. That's how you do it. So when we borrow very happily. While paying back, we shouldn't have a long frown on our face. Graciously pay back, whatever that difficult situation is. That's how you direct your thoughts. That's the way. Thank you. Could repeated thought patterns be genetic? And what can those of us who are in better control do to help? If it's a pathological situation, a pathological situation means there is a pathological genetic continuation of the structure of the chemicals in the brain, only in that condition. So, otherwise thought patterns have nothing to do with genetics. But if there is a pathological genetic imbalance at that time, so that genetic imbalance, just give me a moment, I'll just be back. Yes, Ranjini, let's go. So, if there is a pathological genetical situation, then that has to be treated by appropriate clinical help. We really can't help. So remember, Vedanta is meant for relatively healthy antakaranas, relatively healthy minds and intellects. Clinical psychology can handle those aspects with certain medicines and chemicals to balance whatever is imbalanced. So Vedanta has certain restrictions. Once we bring the person back to a relative mental health, then Vedanta can help. But pathological genetic situations have to be clinically treated. But remember, thought patterns are not genetic. It is a condition of the structure of, the genes, which is really not the purview of what we are doing here. But if your question is it genetic? No, it's not genetic. Some deformity or some other chemical issue could be genetic. So like being prone to blood pressure or diabetes, there are certain certain structures or chemical imbalances which could also be genetic. In that case, they have to be treated appropriately in that way. All right. Then there was a question. Who was it? Yes, Deepti had a question. How to train the mind to enjoy its own company? You will enjoy the company of your mind only when your mind is nourished and full of wisdom, knowledge. Then that wisdom makes the mind very cheerful and light-hearted. Then you will enjoy your company. So a mind which is not nourished will appropriately with higher knowledge will pick up anything from the world and start worrying and thinking. Then that worrying you don't want to be with yourself. That is why we distract ourselves. So the best way to enjoy your own company is keep gaining this wisdom, this knowledge, and then it's a matter of time. You will enjoy contemplating upon it and you will revel in that light. A mind that is light, it is enlightened because it is dropped off all the notions and all the unnecessary thought patterns, and we pick up anything from the world and just keep on thinking. So that is the answer. You will enjoy the company of the sages. Enjoy the company of Lord Krishna as in the teaching. Then when you gain the knowledge, you will enjoy the company of your own mind contemplating on this. Yes? It's a matter of time. You will see this. Then there was a question by there's anybody else here whose questions I've missed out? If you send me, please. Ritu had a question. Yes. Hari Om. As discussed, this is from the previous class. You said don't underestimate the power of the mind. So what are the small things, do's and don'ts, that we should take care of when we are doing this spiritual study? Do's and don'ts start from here. 62, 63 is the first thing to be careful of. And you will find this advice given constantly in the Bhagavad Gita, what to be careful of. See, Lord Krishna will never tell you what you should do, what you should not do. Because the moment we give a person do's and don'ts, the person doesn't like it. So Lord Krishna has a very unique way of teaching. He will give you the causes and consequences. Clear causes, clear consequences, great clarity. Then you decide what you want to do. But the whole Gita has them in different pieces. So in today's class is one part of the answer to your question. One area where you can already start working on. It's very, very beautiful. So that is for you. So you don't underestimate the power of the senses of the mind. Here is your answer, 62 and 63. That was Ritu and Deepthi. I think that's all. That's all the questions. Yes. Any more questions? Let's see. All right, thank you. We'll see you in the next class then. Hari Om.